Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. This is Rana Tanveer Hussain. I hope you all are doing well in the month of Ramadan. Today we are going to discuss our last part of the business taxation course for the midterm exam, and that is the part of salary part. So you remember that for the exam preparation, you have to prepare this part. And let me tell you in advance that this lecture will comprise of two parts of the salary chapter, and both parts are very important with respect to the midterm exam. In midterm exam, there will be three uh, questions, subjective questions. One will be the theoretical non-numerical question comprising of 5 marks, and there will be two numerical questions from the salary part. Two numerical questions. One will be for the 5 marks, and the next one will be 10 marks. So you have to practice all the numericals from the salary part. So let's discuss the first part of the salary portion, and that is the salary and other allowances. Remember that there are various allowances which are paid to the employees other than the basic salaries. For example, if we summarize them, so house rent or accommodation allowances are given to the employees, which are taxable. Utility allowances are given, conveyance allowances are given, special allowances are given. They all are taxables. Medical allowances are given, so condition is given. 10% of the basic salary is added in for the tax purposes. Then dearness allowances is given, that is will be added in the salary income. Overseas allowances are given to the employees, that is also the taxable income. Cost of living allowance or subsistence allowances are given to the employees, that is also a taxable part. Relocation allowances are given to the employees, that is also taxable. Special relief allowance is given to employees. Traveling allowances are given. Uh, Remember, traveling allowances will be treated differently. If they are for the business purpose, they are treated differently, and if they are not for the business purpose, they are uh, treated differently. So they do not constitute the salary part. Example will be coming in ahead. Project allowance is given to the employee for a special project, that is taxable. Flying allowances are given to the pilots and flight engineers, that is taxable. Submarine allowances are given to the officers working under the water, taxable. Senior post allowance is given to some senior officers for the scale greater than 19, that is taxable. So this is the summary of the allowances given to the employee other than the basic salaries. So like most of them are part and they become the income from the salary. Remember, allowances are given as part of the remuneration. They are treated as the taxable as narrated above. And there are some benefits given to the employees other than the salary in the extension of their some duties, right? So they are treated differently. So mm, try to practice these MCQs to check your progress and solve these activities to calculate the total income. I'm moving ahead to save the time. Salary and perquisites. This is the list of the perquisites. This one's there are 12 perquisites given, additional benefits given to the employees. No, let's summarize their uh, tax treatments. For example, a salary of the domestic assistants or the servants paid by the employer. So benefit given to the employee, it is added. It will be added in the head income from the salary. So example is given here. These are very simple example. You can practice them. Then obligation of an employee paid by the employer. Uh, it is again added as an income from the salary for the tax treatment. For example, insurance premium paid by the employer, educational expenses paid by the employer, or any club membership fee paid by the employer. So these benefits basically will be added in the basic salary of the employee. So total income will be calculated accordingly. Waiver of an amount given by the employer to the employee. So rupees 30,000. For example, Mr. Kumar received a waived off. A loan was given by the employer to the employee of 100,000, but at the time of repayment, employer gave him 30,000 discount on that loan, waived off that loan. So that 30,000 will be added in the income from the salary. So example is given here. Then transfer of property. Uh, if any property is transferred to the employee by the employer, considering the amount of that property which is less than the fair market value, so difference will be added in the total income of the employees from the salary. For example, the fair market value of the employee of the property is 1.5 million, but it was offered to the employee at the rate of 1.2 million. So 300,000 benefit is given to the employee. So this will be added in the income from the salary. Then provision of service, any provision provided by the employee to the employee, and the fee of that service is less than the fair market value. So that discounted value will be treated as a benefit and added in the salary income of the employee, like this 40,000 rupees. And utilities. Any utilities paid by the employers, they are also added in the income from the salary if if any amount is given, then the fair market value uh, will be treated as a taxable income, and if they are given at the price less than at the discounted value, then the difference will be taken for the calculation purpose. Medical allowance, medical facility is given to the employees. If it is a part of the employment contract, then it is exempted. And if it is not part of the employment contract, additionally provided to the employee, then it is added in the income for the taxable purpose. So it is taxable. Like this, practice this example. Then entertainment is given. If any entertainment is provided by the employer in the form of the refreshment, in the form of the layer facilities, layer activities, or the meal. So tax treatment is differently. If this entertainment is part of the business activity, then there is no tax treatment. And if it is other than the business activity, then fair market value of the entertainment will be added in the income from salary as a income. Next one is accommodation. If accommodation is provided by the employer to the employee, then treatment will be the tricky one. So this part is tricky one. Entitled amount is of the rent is given, and entitled amount of the rent is not given. So in first case, if entitled amount is given, the letting value is given, then we will do this treatment, and we will compare entitled amount of rent with these percentages. Remember these two areas, non-mufassal and mufassal areas. So 45% of the minimum time scale will be taken, 30% of the minimum time scale will be taken for the calculation, and whichever amount is higher will be added in the income from the salary. For example, basic salary is given 60,000, value of rent is provided, is given. So how it is added in the income, like basic salary, and this then this amount is added, not 60,000. How? We basically have to consider whether it is a mufassal area or non-mufassal. Then if it is a non-mufassal area, it's a metropolitan area. So 45% of the minimum time scale is taken, 12,000 minimum salary multiplied by 12 is annualized salary, and then this annualized salary will be multiplied by 45%. Amount is 64,000. Now the condition is that whichever is higher is will be added in the income. So higher amount is added. And in case of mufassal area or remote areas, you will basically take 30% of the minimum salary. So whichever is higher will be taken in the uh, calculation, in the computation of the total income. In second part, if the annual letting value of the accommodation has not been given, if the value of the rent is not given, then we will calculate these two percentages. These two percentages, 45% in case of non-mufassal area and 30% in case of mufassal area. So let's say 150,000 is the basic salary and rent accommodation is provided, value is not given. So we will take 45% of the minimum time scale, which will be directly added in the basic salary, and total income will be calculated. And in case of remote area, which is the Chiniot, we will take 30% of the minimum time scale and will be added directly in the basic salary as to calculate the total income. Next benefit is conveyance. If conveyance is provided to the employee by the employer for personal use, then 10% or 10% of the cost of the motor vehicle, or 10% of the fair market value of the motor vehicle. In case of lease, we will take fair market value. In case of the purchase of the vehicle by the employer, other than the lease, then 10% of the cost of the motor vehicle will be added. So remember these two examples. Mm. This is in case of the cost of conveyance provided by the employer. For the private use, 1.4 million, so we will take 10% of 1.4 million, which will be added in the computation of the total income. And in case of the lease price, so we will take the lease value, 10% of the lease value, fair market value of the lease price, and 10% will be added in the computation of the total income. So this is the key point, which is very important. इसको याद रखिएगा कि परचेज की सूरत में कॉस्ट पे कैलकुलेट करेंगे और लीज की सूरत में फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू पे कैलकुलेट करेंगे. And if conveyance is provided for both purposes, personal and the business purpose, then percentage will be applied as of 5% of the cost of the vehicle in case of purchase, and 5% of the fair market value in case of the lease financing. Loan from the employer. If loan is paid by the employer, given to the employee, basically, for example, interest-free loan received from employer For example, where interest-free loan is received from employer and amount of loan exceeds 1 million, then interest calculated at the rate of 10% shall be taxable as a benefit. Remember this condition, right? Loan amount should exceed 1 million, right? So the exceeding amount will be a weighted average at the rate of 10%. How? Let's do the example. For example, interest-free loan is 1.5 million, which is greater than 1 million. So condition is met. So basic salary is 1.2 million. So basic salary plus 150,000. How it is calculated? 10% of the loan amount is taken. So this is the total income of the employee. Next one is if interest loan is 7 million. So 7 million is basically less than, sorry, zero point 0.7 million is less than 1 million, 10 lakh. So it does not meet the condition. So it will be exempted basically. And another example, second condition, interest rate is less than 10%. If you're given that interest rate, actual interest rate is 10%, and 1.5 million loan is given to the employee at the rate of 4%, with the basic salary of this. So computation will be like this. We will take the difference, that is a 6%, and 6% of the 1.5 million will be added in the computation of the total income of them. So these were the some examples, some other benefits given by the employer to the employee. For example, food facility by the hotel employees, sorry, to the hotel employees by the hotel employer, it is exempted. Education provided by the education institution to the education employees, exempted from the tax. Medical treatment provided by the hospital to the employees, exempted. Any other perquisite or benefit which is notified by the FPR, it is exempted basically. So solve this example, practice this comprehensive example. Solution is already given. Before looking at the solution, kindly practice it. You will be able to score 5 marks in the exam based upon this one. And this is all for the first part of the uh, salary. Uh, if you have any question, you can contact me anytime. So we will discuss salary and miscellaneous in the next part. Thank you so much.